We now return to Let's Play the Banner Saga. Apparently, when you reload the game, any little special animation disappears. Hopefully, this will still work. Vognir. A familiar Varl steps onto the docks. In your mind you recall a much younger version tramping the halls of Grofheim, abundant in purpose. God, Zubin, you're looking ancient. Comes with being old, and if there is Vognir, there must be Hakon. Hakon? Must there? Still bleeding tributes from the poor and stupid old yaks? At what age do you lose a sense of shame? Jorundir demands it. I'll take that over lingering to death in Grofheim. Speaking of, I had no sense that you were so far from home. Just returned from Arborung, in fact. I'm glad for it. Hakon motions to the other ships in the bay. Sails still fluttering. Golden wolf head emblazoned on red. The king of men, or someone on his behalf. The king's whelp. The king's son, Luden. Don't you know, Scrivener? We visit his capital, he visits ours. It's how you make alliances these days. It's a miserable waste of time. Yes, Hakon has it. I'd almost forgotten. It's a good thing you're around, Hakon. Then you're going to Grofheim? I have the distinct feeling I've finished my business in Strand, and was heading there myself. We should caravan. We should. Give it a day. In better circumstances, I'd drink a week away, but... let's just be done. Find me tomorrow at the gates. What he's trying to say is the prince is a delight to behold. Where is Mogir? Hakon, have him find a place to put up the warriors. I'm heading up to meet the governor. A host of giants depart in his wake. You recognize a few, others are strangers to you. Guess I'm off to find Mogir. See you in the morning, Scrivener. I'll be along. The young prince of men ambles from his ship. He brushes off his tunic, scanning the beach with low eyelids. Luden looks for all the world the sort of boy who grew up pulling the legs from spiders. The long road back to Grofheim should be more interesting than most years, you think. Weariness suddenly settles in, and you chuckle to yourself about what an odd day it's been. One of the governor's men at the Great Hall could find you a place to sleep. On the other hand, if you're going to join Vognir's caravan tomorrow, it might not hurt to share a drink with Hakon, or introduce yourself to the prince they spoke so highly of. If we must. Scrivener! You find Hakon in a mead house, surrounded by other Varl. Strand is no stranger to Varl, but rarely sees this many. Hakon waves you over. Went straight for a flagon? Vognir's the one who agreed to pass up a drink. I wasn't invited to the governor's hall anyway. You already missed the massacre. Every year I make the rounds collecting taxes. Every year it's the human settlements that give me trouble. No surprise. What this time? When I got here, the Great Hall was already full of bodies. We added a few more. Ha, humans. I guess if I only lived as long as a Yaks fart, I might be desperate to make something of myself too. It's not too late to start trying, Hakon. Hakon lets slip a low chuckle. Any Varl could recount his deeds, known as he is for cutting a swath through Dredge at Vognir's side in the Second War, and regularly since then. Down here I'm a glorified bodyguard. You might have a point. Just another reason to get back to Grofheim. Soon enough, I imagine. You drink until the mead house becomes overbearing, then step back into the cool air outside. Let's go see the prince. Is this the right place? You find the prince at an inn. Guards blanket the building, including a sharp-eyed Varl who must be working for Luden. A woman in red eventually waves you over and stands nearby, arms crossed. Greetings, Prince Luden. Yes, you're Vognir? I don't remember you. Not exactly. I've known Vognir a long time. I'll be joining you back to Grofheim with my guards. Ludin looks up for the first time. The woman doesn't react. Why? I work for the king, carrying tithes to the capital. We crossed by chance. Oh, a tax collector. Fine company. What do you want? Last time I was rather terse with him, so this time I have a habit of recording history. I mean, this guy's kind of a dick, so I don't think we're going to get a positive reaction out of him no matter what we do. I have a habit of recording history. I thought we might talk about your visit. A Varl historian. Aha! Don't you already know? Your king and mine both have been practically trumpeting it throughout the cities. I've been on the road a while, I'm afraid. Ludin takes a deep sigh. Whether tired or ungracious, you aren't certain. Maybe both. A formality, mostly. Vognir came to our capital in Arberang, and now we go to the Varl's capital in Grofheim to cement this grand alliance for the next age of men and Varl. You sound unconvinced. There's no need for it, and it's damned cold up here. You get the sense he's struggling not to complain outright. You take the opportunity to excuse yourself. Well, that could have been worse. Okay, so we're close to leaving now. At dawn you're awoken by a delivery of goods. At least you think it's dawn. Damn hard to tell with a sun that never moves. The governor's crest adorns the supply leathers. All there, just as promised, to your mild surprise. You wonder if Eric had anything to do with that. Your guards take the treasure wagon down to the gates. Vognir is already here. A while later, Ludin and his men appear, groggy and disheveled. Mogir steps forward. Vognir's quartermaster, if you recall correctly, in charge of his unwieldy entourage of warriors. You know him only in passing. He asks if you're ready to depart. I have no choice. You follow Mogir and join the others. Usually the smaller doors set into the gates would be enough to enter or leave the city, but the town guards have been told to push them open entirely. They mutter things under their breath that are best not heard. Perhaps the governor expected you to draw a crowd, but there's nothing of the sort, just frustrated, tired people. It summarizes Strand well as a whole, you think. So, can we go in there now? Okay, so now we leave, and this is the Oregon Trail part. As we go on, we find places along the way, events happen, we use supplies, people die if you don't have enough supplies, and time moves on. And I'm surprised we didn't stop at the bridge. This sort of looks like a place we would stop. Instead, oh, wait. The caravan stops for the day. A gift, says Mogir, cracking open mead casks, from our gracious friend, the governor of Strand. Hours pass with raucous laughter as the mead is passed throughout camp. I will drink a little. You go easy. You've nothing against a good drink, but if anyone is going to keep an eye on things, it may as well be you. The revelers eventually fall asleep without incident. You rise groggily at the campsite, a casualty of merriment. Mogir is already kicking warriors awake when you spot Ludin stalking your direction. He sidesteps sleeping bodies. Better wake up, you nudge Vognir. You're needed. Ah, it's Ludin. Always a pleasure. You look well rested. Vognir releases a caged yawn and receives a hard-eyed stare in return. How long to Grofheim? Ha! We're only 2 days out of Strand, you know. Come, I'll show you on a map. The world map. Click and look around. You get to check things. Everything has a little bit of lore attached to it, which is kind of cool. So if we click on Strand here, as close as anything comes to a bastion of racial tolerance, both men and Varl compete to scratch out a living in this, the biggest trade city along the west coast. Many people still believe the god Dengler still watches over it, granting good fortune. Nothing of the sort. Okay, so where we are headed is all the way up here to Grofheim, the last home of the Varl and the seat of power founded by Arnfrnr, the second Varl king. Although the Varl have moved around a lot, most consider Grofheim their capital. The deeds of Varl are honored here, and all warriors of worth are buried at the foot of the two spears, where they are said to become part of the Varl's march itself. So, this is another location. You can tell the little squares are cities and towns. Later in the game, they become very important. You sit there just hoping that you can get to the next town so you can buy supplies and don't starve. We are headed to Vetterfell. Named Bad Weather, the gales that blow in from the bay and around the mountain peaks keep Vetterfell in a generally unpleasant state. What really cemented the name was the kind of person who would live there. Men cast out from Strand for one reason or another, with nowhere else to go. Okay. So, this is a rather large map. It is just huge. And I know this game changes a little bit depending on the choices that you make. Whoops, didn't mean to click on that. But I'm not sure just how much it changes. I'm not sure if the story is different that much and that drastic, because when I first played through this, we didn't use hardly any of this map. I mean, a lot of stuff happens, but we don't visit most of this. And in fact, I mean, not to spoil anything, but this doesn't feel like the story ends. It kind of feels like they're either waiting for a sequel or more likely DLC, which is kind of annoying. Anyway, let's get back to it. We head north, then east, past the forts. Grofheim's far from Strand. Going to be a long march. You should have drank last night, Luden. Why not take the ships to Skrymirstead? What's the point of marching? The Silverstone Bay is called that for a reason. It stays covered in ice all year. It would tear up the longships. Too bad, though. We could have shown you all the wonders of Skrymirstead. A half-sunken city crawling with dredge, Prince. Dredge and glaciers. You like glaciers? Luden exhales through the nose, a poor disguise for his contempt. He turns and bats aside the tent flap as he goes, barking at his company in the distance. Don't poke the anthill, Wagner. He seems no happier to be here than you. Spend a few more days with the boy, old friend. You'll be looking for a tall cliff to hop off, too. Luden's got a shorter wick than Hakon. Thanks, Wagner. Let's get moving. Another half day to Vetterfell if we're lucky. Camp is where you manage the caravan. You can upgrade heroes. If there's a marketplace, you can get that. You can pass the time by using rest. Rest improves the caravan's morale. A high morale will reduce casualties in war and affect your willpower in combat, which later on becomes incredibly important and is very difficult to maintain. Each passing day will use supplies, so only rest when necessary. The training tent will allow you to safely try out any characters in a mock battle. I find it kind of worthless, because you don't gain anything for it. You don't gain experience, it's just sort of to try things out. I guess we'll click on the hero's tent. Gunnulf, yeah, click on a unit to view its stats, promote, and learn about its abilities. Gunnulf did have a promotion incoming, so I can click on its ability and learn a little bit more about what he does. He's got, well, there's two things here. He's got Tempest, which is that big area of effect attack, and then he's got the heavy impact, which does damage to his neighbors. But more importantly, he has a promotion. And promotion at this level will increase his stats and increase his ability to have higher ranked items. This is going to cost me 5 renown. I've got 35. I'm going to go ahead and do it. But the thing about renown is that it is a universal currency, which I find absolute bullshit, because you need your renown not only to upgrade your heroes, but to buy items and, more importantly, supplies. And so what ends up happening, you can only gain renown through combat, and combat gets very difficult towards the end of the game, and the final boss is just practically impossible. But the thing is that you end up having to make a choice. Do you upgrade your heroes so that you can actually, win your combats, or do you buy supplies so people don't die? If people start dying, your morale goes down, and as they said, that affects your willpower, and so in combat you will have less ability to give yourselves bonuses. And so I guess maybe that's part of the challenge, that's probably intended, but I find it really annoying, because especially near the end, you just cannot keep up with the supplies. So people die, people starve, you can't buy anything. It's really annoying. But anyway, we've taken care of Gunolf here. Let's see. Yeah, I don't think anyone else took place in the combat. Now, the way that you determine whether they rank up is by their kills, and so it's kind of important to let everyone have a turn in combat. And one thing that I didn't do very well at all my first time through was sort of sharing the damage, because by the end you are very reliant on your best characters, which means you're just feeding them kills, and it costs more points, more renown points, to upgrade them. So hopefully I'll get this a little bit better. Anyway, I've upgraded him, so I've got 2 points now to add into his stats, and if we look here we see that ability cannot be increased with these points. You can only get them by ranking up. I think at rank 3 we'll get an increase to this, or maybe rank 5. Anyway, armor blocks damage. Strength is what does damage, but it also counts as your health. Willpower, we've already talked about. Exertion here is something new. This is the amount of willpower that you can use in any given action. So it doesn't really matter how much willpower you have if you don't have a lot of exertion. Because if you can only give yourself 1 point of bonus, then I don't know, that's just not really worth it to me. Having 2 is really nice. And break is the amount of direct damage you can naturally do to an enemy's armor. This is very important to build up, and something that I sort of tend to ignore. First thing I will put in for this guy, though, are 2 points into his... No, actually, I just saw we don't have any in this, so I want at least 1, and then I'm going to put this in armor. Especially later in the game, building up your armor as high as it can go is incredibly important, because the final sort of, well, they're not really bosses, I guess. You only get the one boss, but the final enemies just start doing a hell of a lot of damage. So we'll go ahead and do this, and we should be done here. Okay, I suppose I could rest. We don't really need to, because I've got great morale, and it would use up a day of supplies. So let's just go ahead and leave.
Wedderfell. Even the name means bad weather, where frozen wind sweeps in from the bay. They tend livestock, but most are just men driven from Strand with nowhere else to go. Why else would anyone stay? We won't stop long.
I find that kind of a waste, that we camped so close to coming to another town. By Hadderborg, that's a lot of varl for some missing cattle. What? A couple days back, sent word to Strand about the cattle. Didn't expect an army. He looks pleased with himself until it sinks in that you aren't here on his behalf. Where have your cattle gone? Wouldn't know. My boy's seen men up the hills carrying them away. Don't know many men who can hoist a whole cow by himself. Shalefing's out here, maybe? Could they have Varl working for them? Not from what the governor told me. I'm going to look around and get camp set up. The peasant spits, his eyes anxiously darting about as the caravan sets up tents. We'll be here no more than a day. There's silver for any food you've got. For hundreds of varl? Are you serious? Whatever you're willing to sell. You thinking of squatting? Not enough room for a couple hunters here. Forget hundreds of... Shut up. Hear that? Where's Luden? It's faint. Sounds like fighting and something else. Hakon takes off at a run. Alright. So here are the main bad guys of this game. The Dredge. They are quite a bit more powerful than the normal enemies. I guess I have a choice. Game wants me to go here. Okay, yes. Spearmen can attack diagonally. Most units cannot, which is incredibly annoying and frustrating. So the game is basically going to force me to miss, just to show me that that happens. And Luden is down. So, I need to make sure that I leave myself some room. Nogir's not going to get in there this turn, which is unfortunate. We can get those two in. And that guy will move in as well. So we'll get 2 strikes on this guy. If you look down here. Actually, I should be able to get... No, because he won't make it. Even with a little bit. Although maybe if I moved Hakon out of the way. No, don't rest. Don't rest. Move him up here. So I'm going to miss horribly. Hakon's special ability is Sundering Impact, which has a 100% chance to hit, and does 1 strength damage, as well as 1 armor break. And it would also give me a +1 break to heavy damage, or heavy impact. But, I might be able to do more damage if I just went and straight up attacked his armor. I can... Yeah, let's do this. This is a better idea. Need to break that armor down. Otherwise, this is gonna hurt. Damn. Can't get all the way up there. So I won't. I won't waste the movement, or the willpower. And let's see. He can get to me anyway. Does he have something? Adjacent dredge... Yeah, that's the thing about the dredge, is that if you get them clumped up together, and you want to do that. That's sort of the main strategy for fighting them, is to get them to wander towards you and clump up together, because when you deal damage to them, adjacent ones get hit. So, let's go ahead and bring him up here. That way, if he does come here, I can use his big strike. Okay, I can do 4 damage. I will increase that. 5. Ouch. One thing that's really important is to go after the big guys first, although the game doesn't always give you that choice. Now that we have one adjacent to the other. Now let's see, he has Bring the Pain, which deals 1 break damage to the target and gives me a +1 to Return the Favor. Return the Favor is a reciprocal ability. When I get attacked, I can counterattack. But I think maybe I'll just outright get... Nah, I guess I can't. I can bring his armor down a bit. Although, maybe I should just do this. Okay, so I'm going to use his Tempest ability. And and that didn't work out so well, but you saw there they took extra damage from being next to each other. Okay, what he's doing here is summoning another one, so we need to kill him. Ah, here's the horn. Okay. So when you kill enemies, you get an extra willpower star, which is nice. And I think... well... would he be able... if I used an ability, or used a willpower point, I guess I could get in there. The thing about the Varl is that you have to make sure you are leaving yourself enough room for them to move. Otherwise you'll lock yourself out. I think I'll come in and attack this guy in the back. We can increase this. I mean, right now only Gunnulf is taking a lot of damage, and that's because he is... whew, that was really nice. That's because he's got the most aggro on him. So let's try this again. Yeah, it's because my strength is going down. But that's okay. Just move forward. And strike him down. Still only... just because... well, you know what? He's got a 90% chance here. Worth a chance. Okay. We almost lost Gunnulf. You don't actually lose your heroes when they get knocked out, they just get injured. And when they are injured, they are less effective in combat. Mostly in that they have less willpower. Or, no, strength. They start out with a strength penalty. Which is not good. You're trying to get yourself killed, Luden. What are you doing? I was trying to get a shot in between the plates. You never seen a dredge before, boy? What kind of idiot? Break their armor first. Where did they come from? We didn't even see them. They were just there. Hakon goes to where Wagner lies face down. The future Varl king lies motionless, aside from a spreading pool of blood. Wagner's dead. Chapter 2. Cut with Keen-Edged Sword. Okay. So, this game has divergent storylines. You swap between characters, and these are the other people. Where did that thing come from? Shh, stay close. I think it saw us. Alright, well I sort of already know about this. Now this is going to be... okay, well this one's not too powerful. Although, these guys, in particular, with this crazy sword, do a lot of damage. I'm not ready yet. Now, the two characters I've got here are Rook and Alet. And Rook is sort of a hybrid character. He does ranged as well as melee. But against the dredge, I would much rather do the ranged thing. So I'm going to move them back as far as possible. I'm going to let this guy come to me. So let's see, move up to 6, if he's got any bonuses. So if I move back here, will I be in range to hit him? It doesn't look like it. You can tell this little red box will flash when you are within range. So I guess I'll just get back over here and sort of wait. Although, no, resting wouldn't do anything because I didn't have any extra willpower. Now he is going to get another turn, and this is something I stupidly did not count for. Okay, thread the needle. Now she does bonus damage to a target that has already lost armor if I have not moved her. And her thread the needle will also do... Okay, see, so you can look at the red box there. If I get her up here, she will be out of the way, but I can also have her attack. And I think I'm just going to go ahead and bring down this armor before he gets to Rook. Because Rook is going to take a hit right now. Well, that wasn't so bad. Let's see. I can do 3 damage. If I just sort of stand and fight, I might be able to get this guy down before I take some hits. But if I bring down his armor, Alette might get a chance to do some increased... No, let's bring this down first. Because I really don't want him to do a lot of damage to me. Yeah. Should we bring that down to 2? Okay, he's trying to break down my armor. But I'll get him before he does. Okay. Now humans are much more vulnerable to dredge attacks than the Varl. So it's a good idea to be more tactical with them. You don't really want them, especially the archers, you don't want them to stand and fight. Was that a dredge? Alette looks calm, but you can tell her heart is about to beat right out of her chest. It was. Let me see, are you hurt? No, I'll be fine. When the dredge attacked your cart and the ox bolted, it spilled most of your supplies. You can see more dark figures moving through trees when you glance that direction. All that food, that's the last we're going to get before winter. What do we do? Don't run, let me think. Okay. Now, these 2 options, I'm pretty sure as we are gathering, we're going to be attacked. If we hurry, we can gather them before dredge appear. I don't think that's going to happen. I definitely don't want to stand and fight, especially with just the 2 of us. Forgetting the supplies and running is the smart choice until you realize that you definitely need that food. These guys, this part of the story, they run out of food very quickly. So I think I'm going to try and gather some before I run, because I'm going to need every bit I can get. And if we fight some, then I can at least get that renown. Hopefully this won't be too bad. I can see them in the trees. Are you sure about this? No, we have to try. Be quick. And we're going to get attacked. Alette calms the ox while you frantically toss supplies back into the cart. More dredge emerge, but you manage to get the cart moving again before they can close in. The colossal figures slowly recede into the distance. Wow. You know, I've already said that I've played through this game, so I kind of have a pessimistic view of everything that happens. I am surprised we got away with that. Supplies represent food and other goods, keep everyone alive on the road. When the supplies are gone, people die. That's no good. You can see how many days of supplies you have in the top left corner. Yes, I've already explained this. We need every bit we can get. Those plus 15 are definitely going to be useful. So we're on our way to the town of Sugar. We'll go with that. And we come into a nice bit of town.
I never expected to see the dredge with my own eyes. What happened in the north? Already we see more between the trees as we approach our home, and Alette grips my hand tight. We must find Ivor.
There's a lot of nice little touches if you look in the background. I mean, this game is very pretty. It's very nice. So, kudos for that. There we go, finally stopped. Ivor! The enormous Varl in question towers over the men in the training field. He squints as you approach. Already back, Huntmaster. Thought you'd be tomorrow. Dredge, everywhere! Dredge? How did they get through Greyhorn? Must have broken through the fort. The fighters nearby have stopped sparring. They gather around you. Damn it. They'll be here soon if they're not already. You hear screams. From the outskirts, people are running toward the Great Hall. Ivor turns to one of the older boys in his group of fighters. Egil, take Alette to the Great Hall. Tell the chieftain what's happening. The rest of you, gather up as many people as you can. Come on, Alette. No, wait. I want to help. Okay, last time I went through this, I feel that this game punishes you for not being a big, strong Viking. You know, by being cautious and cowardly, negative things happen. But, like I said, I think negative things happen no matter what you do. Okay, let them fight. This is a bad idea. Why not invite some goats to join us too? You're asking for dead kids. I won't let anything happen to her. They'll have to deal with it sooner or later, Ivor. What now? Egil, keep your shield up. We just hold them off until everyone's inside, then we figure out what to do next. More shouts draw your attention to some houses atop a nearby hill. Alright. So, I'm gonna end this one here. The exciting bit is yet to come. I'll see you next time.